fought him. You know the story. I'm not going to rehearse the whole thing. I love it, though. I love it when David looked at this man that was about high as a basketball rim, and he said, bring your little ruddy behind on out here so I can feed it to the birds. And David said, no, 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 you got that twisted, man. He said, this day the Lord is going to allow me to kill you. In fact, he said, I come to you in the name of my God, who has delivered me from the bear, paw of the bear, the jaw of the lion, and he will deliver me from you, you uncircumcised Philistine. David was talking some stuff, but David knew what he was talking about. You see, a lot of folk go out there selling wolf tickets and come home with their tail between the... But David knew where God had brought him from and what God had enabled him to do. And he said, this day, Mr. Giant, I'm going to cut your head off your shoulders and feed your body to the birds of the air. And so, no, I'm sorry. Let me change that around. That's what Goliath told him. And David said, you a lie. Let me move on. And so David gets out there on the battlefield fighting Goliath, and he said, you come at me with bow and arrow, but I come at you in the name of my God. He wound it up, threw the rock, and caught Goliath smack dab in the forehead, and Goliath fell dead. And after that, the men of Israel routed the Philistine army. But David proved himself that day. He proved that he was a young man that trusted in God with his very life. Y'all with me today? And so King Saul kept David there. He didn't let him go back to tend the sheep. He kept him there. And David grew up to be a mighty man of valor, a warring man. He led his own men. King Saul gave him about 500-600 men that were his troops, and whenever David went out on a raiding party, they were successful. They always did what they were supposed to do, and the notoriety of David began to spread throughout the army and even back to the civilian population where they came from. So David was very successful, and the reason why David was successful was that he had the favor of God on him. Oh, come on, y'all didn't catch that. He had the favor of God on him. Why did he have the favor of God on him? Because it was David that said, as a hart panteth after the water brook, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. David was a God chaser. David wanted to get more of God and more, he wanted to be more in God and more of God in him. So David started out the right way. David had favor with God. Favor was upon him. And David became more and more victorious as he fought in the battles with King Saul, and his fame began to grow. And one day, David, I'm going somewhere with this, stay with me. And one day as they came back into the village among the civilians, the ladies got out there singing. And they started singing, woo, Saul. Woo, Saul, you something else. Woo, Saul has killed his thousands. But David has killed his 10,000s. The king looked around, saw the little ruddy shepherd boy, and at that moment in his mind, he said, no, I got to do something. Things have got to change here. And so Saul became jealous of David, and as David and his men went out to do more great exploits, Saul became more and more jealous of him. And in fact, Saul tried to kill him several times. Y'all with me? Sitting at a dinner table, he picks up a spear and throws it at somebody. That's like somebody sitting at a dinner table pulling out a 45. But God enabled David to dodge the spear. So the setup is that King Saul was jealous of David. He was jealous of David because David had the favor of God on him. Anybody in here have the favor of God on you? If you're sitting here today, you have the favor of God on you. Hello, somebody. And I'm going to say this now, church folk, I mean, we Christians, you don't say it, but whether you're saved or not and you're in here today, the favor of God is on you. That's right, the favor of God is on you because he gave you sense enough to at least make it to the house of worship. The favor of God is on you. Tell your neighbor, the favor of God is on you. Amen. Y'all stay with me on this message because I'm going somewhere with this, and it's going to be a big a big shift, and y'all going to wonder how we got to that shift. I'm just giving some background, but we're trying to get to a certain place. So the favor of God was on David, not by accident, but because he was a man after God's own heart. In Psalm 42, 1 through 2,